My name's Jessie Buddell, and I've been painting these paintings since about 2008. I was painting blues musicians at the time, and I think the first 3D jump I made was with B.B. King. I was painting him flat. I just thought of what would it look like if his guitar and his hands came closer towards the viewer and popped out of the frame a little bit, and I think that was the first one. Ever since then, I was making most of them with 3D parts to them. When I start a painting, it usually starts with seeing a photograph of one of my favorite rock musicians, and it'll really drive me crazy. I have to capture that and make it bounce out, and I look at the photograph, I have wood, like flat wood next to me, and I draw the photograph out onto the wood as best I can. That usually takes the most time out of everything. The Hendrix, I think, took about 45 hours to 50 hours. I didn't really record his time. There's so many aspects that have to be right, like even just like a little different shading under a nose can totally make it not look like the person. So I make the drawing first, and then I die cut the wood, usually. This is drawn and painted. That's drawn and then painted with acrylic paint. This is a real guitar. I mount the wood, and this is actually a raincoat that I brought from Goodwill, and I made it look like the jacket that was in the picture. And I actually clothe him like a paper doll. I usually like to add, like this is real necklaces. These are my necklaces that I had for years, and just like little crystals and mirrors and stuff to make it pop even more. I think out of all these, my favorite painting is the Jerry Garcia. Jerry, his persona is kind of like a lovable teddy bear. I wanted the painting to feel like it was coming out to give you a hug, like he was popping out. I kind of got that to happen, and then just adding, the Grateful Dead symbols like the dancing bears and the sun. His sunglasses are real, and he didn't have that middle finger, because when he was a kid he lost his middle finger, and I wanted to show all things that related to Jerry, so I wanted to highlight that. Really like that one, and plus that one probably took me the most time out of all of it. The Keith Moon, I saw a really great picture of him that I liked. I wanted to highlight that, and the Who symbol is 3D, and it's raised above the surface, and the Who lettering I die cut out of thin wood and painted it black. The Union Jack signs, the flags behind him, I made them with linoleum cuts. So that's actually like just printed on there. The ascot that he's wearing is silk. The Keith Moon is 3D, and his lapels pop off a little bit, they're 3D. The Mark Bolan painting, that is, he's completely die cut out of wood. Plus his hair has kind of like gel texture in it, so in certain light, it looks a little bit like the hair. And I also put glitter on his eyes and his lips because he was glam rock. The Gray Slick painting is pretty flat compared to the other ones. I wanted to highlight her face. The hookah smoking caterpillar's there with the rabbit. The rabbit's wearing like a real plaid jacket with a velvet collar, and he has a little cottontail out of a cotton ball. Okay, this Keith Moon was inspired because I love a picture of Keith Moon behind his drum set. His hand is up and it breaks the border of the painting, and I carved that little drumstick myself, so that breaks the border. The only thing that raises above the plane in this one is his drums. They're die cut and they're raised above, and they have glitter all over them and crystals, so when the light hits those, it really looks like they're popping out. I saw this great picture of Johnny Cash. I loved his stance and the way he looked so proud, and there was an American flag behind him, and so I painted this one on wood. It's smaller than the others. This one is Jim Morrison. He's 3D. He's completely die cut, his head and his body, so he's lifted off the surface. I handmade the frame around it. He has embellished like embroidery on his shirt, and on the frame I have real conchas from a belt that I used to have, so that's from my belt. I put the conchas on because of Jim Morrison's belt. The arrows are cut from suede, and the lizard is 3D and raised above, and there's crystals and glitter over a lot of it. This Hendrix is smaller than the other ones. It just has crystals on it to catch the light on the guitar, and he's wearing real necklaces, 2 real necklaces. This Ziggy Stardust, the picture that I found of Ziggy Stardust that is like the perfect quintessential picture of Ziggy Stardust. shows all his attitude. And I like the quote behind him. I was struggling to come up with a background of lyrics of his, and I thought that was pretty good from one of his songs, that he has a lot of crystals all over him too to catch the light. My artwork is currently on display at Rock and Roll San Diego. It's behind the old sports arena, and you can find their website at rockandrollsandiego.com. For inquiries about purchasing or commissions, you can contact me at www.primalscenes.com. My email is artistcheetah@yahoo.com. And my Facebook is facebook.com/Jessie Buddell's Rock and Roll Art.